Thank you, Ali, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. Message for Errol Spence just lost. What do you tell him?
No, I think he needs to come back and keep forward, never give up. I think this is boxing. You win or lose, but you need to be there. All the best for him.
Ahead of the rematch between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence and Canelo Alvarez have been seen training together. Interestingly, those are the next two opponents of Terence Crawford, who is set to move up to the super middleweight division in an undisputed title fight against Canelo Alvarez.
Shit, man, I stay fit, man. You did? Yes, sir. And it's not tucked in. This is tucked in. Say, man, we working, man. We working. You know what I'm saying?
He ain't wake me up for my brother.
Nah, bro. Nah. Hey, going on vacation, not bringing your running shoes. It's like going on a dinner date and not bringing your wallet, man.
Oh, man.
God damn, man. We went, man. We went up, man. We went.
With Errol Spence, the plan is to meet at a catchweight, since it's more of a tune-up fight and Terence would be hoping to make light of the same man that gave him the greatest win of his career. However, Spence and Canelo decided to rub minds with each other ahead of the fight. For Canelo Alvarez, he doesn't need to get so much from Spence other than the feeling and experience of having Terence Crawford in the other corner of the ring. For Spence, there's so much to learn, especially if he's unwilling to go and become a ram for Crawford's slaughter like the last time.
Yeah, today, March 1st, 2025. Y'all gotta stop capping on me, man. The only reason I look overweight in that picture is because I had on like 3 sweaters because it's cold.
On July 29th, 2023, when Errol Spence Jr. fell inside the boxing ring for the first time, everyone knew Terence Crawford had created history. The Omaha native became the first male boxer to win undisputed titles in 2 different weight classes. However, that was not enough for Bud.
Canelo signs a new deal with PBC, and there's already chatter. First fight, Charlo. At the end of that, they say Errol Spence. Being a superstar as you are, is that something you're looking to be a part of in the future?
It's something I definitely consider, but right now my 100% focus on Terence Crawford. Like, it has been no time.
Listen, I told my boy Jazz, I already caught the biggest fish in Texas. About to get out here and get it in. I see the water. I know who the #1 fisherman is. Even big fish get caught.
Most of the boxers would have happily given up the sport if they had even achieved half of what Crawford has. But the 41-0 boxer is not like others. As soon as he became the undisputed champion at 147 pounds, he jumped up to 154, and now he is preparing for a mega clash against Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds in September. Despite Canelo constantly rejecting the idea of this dream fight, the 47-year-old did not give up. Now that his dream fight is extremely close, he decided to send a warning to Canelo Alvarez at the expense of Errol Spence Jr. of all people. Earlier today, the Omaha native took to his Instagram and posted a video of a fishing trip in Texas alongside his friend Jazz Prince, the CEO of Young Empire Music Group. The video featured Terence Crawford talking to Prince, claiming that he has already caught the biggest fish in Texas. Seems ordinary, right? Nope. It was an indirect dig at Errol Spence Jr., a lifelong Texan who self-proclaimed himself as the Big Fish of 147 pounds before their ill-fated fight in 2023.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford wanna challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm with it. So, you know, I'll be going for Bud. You know, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna win or lose, but I definitely.
However, it turns out that the 37-year-old loves catching fish, and he has understood one thing over the years: even big fishes get caught, Crawford stated in a clear warning to Canelo Alvarez. Fight Hype later reposted the story on their YouTube channel with the caption, "Terence Crawford sends Canelo new Spence message." This is not the first time that Crawford has increased the stocks of his upcoming fight at Spence's expense. Right after his undisputed welterweight title victory, he issued a challenge to the 154 pounds undisputed champion, at the time Jermell Charlo, declaring that he has caught the big fish, now I'm hunting the little cub, on his social media.
I definitely be going Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off.
But no,
He's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, and he started at 147. So I mean, if he's doing it, why can't Crawford do it?
Over the years, the Mexican superstar has often rejected the Crawford fight over the weight discrepancy. While the Omaha native has never gone past 154 pounds, he has to fight Canelo at his weight of 168 pounds, which is a massive task. However, Bud is confident that he can pull it off. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Spence claimed that there was a chance that the 37-year-old could defeat the unified super middleweight champion. It could happen, why not? I mean, if Crawford wants to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, he said. The truth is clear that if the fight happens, he will be going for Crawford. If he fights Canelo, I'll be going for him. I don't know if he's going to win or lose, but I'll definitely be going for Crawford.
We're not thinking about Canelo right now, but I mean, if the fight come across the table, I definitely take that fight. I feel like 165, 168, that's more my natural weight, and it's a lot easier for me to make. So I definitely take that fight.
Spence has first-hand experience of how dangerous Terence Crawford can be once he is in the groove. That is why I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off. He's chasing greatness, so why not? Stated the Texan. He then referred to the career trajectory followed by Canelo Alvarez, who started his career as a welterweight. Canelo went up to 175 and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy Bivol too. He started at 147, so if he did it, why can't Bud do it? Asked Spence to the interviewer. It was definitely surprising to see Errol Spence Jr. picking his former opponent, showing that there was respect between the pair. Yet, Crawford's newest chapter has cast a shadow over their respect-driven connection. Or is he simply baiting Canelo Alvarez? Let us know your thoughts down below.
Been no talks about Canelo, talking about Canelo or nothing. Like it's been all Terence Crawford. So even when they was talking about Keith Thurman, and it's been all Terence. My thing was, I want Terence. Like, yeah, Canelo cool. Like, that's a super fight. That's great money. But my whole thing, Terence Crawford, great money too. And
as the biggest active star in the sport, Alvarez has won world titles in 4 weight classes and will look to become 2-time undisputed in the super middleweight ranks on May 3rd when he faces new IBF world champion William Skull. One wonders if, given a second chance, Terence Crawford might take his words back? Or did he believe his statements, unlike arrows that never return, could somehow be reeled in? Controversy erupted after the former undisputed welterweight champion questioned Errol Spence Jr.'s legacy and his place in the Hall of Fame. The backlash from those remarks continues to follow Crawford, who is currently preparing for what could be the biggest fight of his career, a highly anticipated showdown with Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo Alvarez thinks you're not a 54-pounder. In other words, you say, nah, he's too small.
That's his take. There's a reason why Israel was so respectful in the fight. Anytime I let my hands go, he would grab me or move. For the bigger guy, you should have been walking me down. You should have been bullying me. Canelo can say, what do you say?
He just doesn't feel like you're a 54-pounder. He believes that you're a real weight class. And
that's a legacy fight. I feel as if, this is the biggest fight in boxing today. I feel like this fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. We both come in an era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound for pound, Showtime, and HBO era, that type of era. So I think this fight.
Crawford has long stated that a victory over Canelo would cement his legacy among boxing's all-time greats. Many believe he's capable of pulling it off, but the question remains, does this rise to legendary status mean those who paved the way or helped elevate him through competition are now somehow diminished? Ironically, his recent comments about Spence may do more to undercut his own legacy than to boost it. Boxing analyst Showbiz, the adult, didn't hold back in response. Terence Crawford was trash on his own, he remarked. The controversy began during a conversation between Crawford and MMA legends Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo, in which Crawford recounted his lifelong dream of becoming a world champion.
My real weight class
it's
is
not
168.
Canelo trolling.
I just want to know if I'm too small for 168. A lot of people my whole life been doubting me.
Right.
I know I'm smaller than Canelo. I know I'm smaller than these guys.
Yeah, but Canelo's pretty short too. Canelo's
Yeah,
your height too.
we're the same height. We're the same height.
Yeah, exactly, for a 68-pounder.
To his credit, Crawford did clarify that he considers himself a fan of Errol Spence. What upset him, he said, was the way critics continued to downplay his accomplishments, even after moving up in weight to face and defeat Spence. They're trying to blemish my accomplishments just to boost him, he said. Despite the criticism, Crawford has undeniably carved out a Hall of Fame-worthy career. At this stage, he could retire and be honored in Canastota without much debate. But when asked if Spence belongs in the Hall of Fame, Crawford hesitated. Right now, no, Crawford replied before explaining further. He fought in one division. They already called him a weight bully. He beat a Kell Brook coming off of a loss and an eye injury, you know? He beat Sean Port.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo. This fight will be massive.
And you mentioned Floyd. Obviously, Floyd and Manny, a lot of people thought happened way after it should have happened. You guys are both in your prime right now. You guys are both two of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in boxing. This is the biggest fight in boxing right now.
Definitely. And that's what I've been saying, you know. You got two guys, top 3, pound for pound.
Crawford emphasized that he doesn't dislike Spence, but in his honest assessment, he's unsure if the Texan has done enough to earn a Hall of Fame induction. Showbiz the adult pushed back. He acknowledged that Kell Brook was compromised when he faced Spence. He was still recovering from an eye injury sustained against Gennady Golovkin. However, he pointed out that Brook was arguably in worse shape, both mentally and physically, when he fought Crawford 3 years later. In his words, Brook was depressed. The analyst went further. He referred to Amir Khan, an Olympic silver medalist and former world champion, as another example. Amir Khan was completely cracked, he said. The implication was clear. If Crawford discounts Spence's resume by citing the conditions of their shared opponents, then he's also undermining his own achievements. Showbiz. The adult said, so he's cutting down his own resume. The Nebraskan should refrain from such attempts. Stop doing that. I think you're great. Please stop doing that, bro.
I think the IBA is doing a lot of wonderful things in the sport of boxing, especially the amateurs. We're giving them the compensation for stepping in the ring and winning those big tournaments. Last night was a great event, and I think they're only going to get bigger and better.
Listen, we're looking forward to you in the ring. There's loads of things going around at the moment, including a big clash with Canelo Alvarez. Can you tell us what's going on in that situation, and can that happen next?
Spence's future, especially after his recent setbacks, remains uncertain. However, dismissing his past accomplishments outright may be short-sighted. Do those setbacks mean Spence never belonged in Canastota to begin with? The debate rages on. But as Showbiz the adult pointed out, greatness doesn't have to come at someone else's expense. As someone who has lost just twice, Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol, both on points in 66 professional contests, there is no argument Canelo will land a place in the International Boxing Hall of Fame when all is said and done. Who on the wall does he consider as the best ever? In an interview with GQ magazine, the 34-year-old from Guadalajara, Mexico, said this of Muhammad Ali, the best in the world of all time.
We shall see, you know. Who knows?
That smile's telling me something else, bro. I think it might be on the line, no?
I'm just saying, man. We can't say it's not going to happen. We can't say that it is. So, you know, let's all just wait and see.
Terence, is there still sort of fights at 154? Obviously, you're champion at 154. There's still a lot of fights out there that interest you at 154 pounds?
There's a lot of fights out there at 154, you know, that's interesting me. That interests me. You know, like I said, the future is bright. The sport is going in the right direction.
Canelo is, of course, not alone in placing Ali at the top of the pile in a sport that has consistently produced outstanding athletes with captivating stories As for Canelo's campaign to become one of the best ever, should he beat Skull next month, he will move straight into a September mega fight against fellow pound-for-pound star and four-weight champ Terence Crawford. Crawford, 35, became boxing's first fully unified welterweight champion of the four-belt era. The three-division champion from Omaha, Nebraska native retained his World Boxing Organization 147-pound championship and won the International Boxing Federation, World Boxing Association, and World Boxing Council belts from Spence.
Did stop it.
Right, yeah,
but
no,
I think
you think you should have stopped it at that time, because even when he stopped it, Errol was, put his hands up like, I'm still going. Do you think that was the time to stop the fight?
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think that his corner should have stepped in the 7th round. I feel as if, they believed in Errol, but at the same time, they should have.
Crawford also earned the distinction as the sport's first male undisputed champion in 2 divisions, since the International Boxing Federation, World Boxing Association, World Boxing Council, and World Boxing Organization belts were all recognized. He was the undisputed 140-pound champion prior to moving up to welterweight 5 years ago.
To save the fighter from himself. Because as fighters, we're going to keep fighting until there's no fight left. But at the point where, they see that there's no possible way for him to win.
Spence had 30 days to exercise his contractual right to an immediate rematch, but Crawford can dictate the weight limit for their second bout. Spence told BoxingScene.com on Wednesday that he wanted this to be his last fight at the welterweight limit because it takes too much out of him physically to squeeze down to 147 pounds. "We gotta do it again," Spence said to Gray in the ring. Spence still didn't blame his lopsided loss on his grueling weight cut.
Went ahead and put it all on the line. Round of applause to both Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. for providing us an unbelievable night of boxing here in Las Vegas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now I want to bring up, he is the first.
He was just better tonight, Spence said. Crawford seemingly took the 8th round off before he resumed his vicious assault on Spence as soon as the 9th round began. He finished off his decimated rival soon thereafter. As a sign of respect, Crawford went out of his way to touch gloves with Spence after he dropped him twice during the 7th round.
First male boxer to be undisputed champion in 2 divisions for the first time in the four-belt era. There is an undisputed welterweight champion of the world. This man, 40 wins, no losses. He remains undefeated here tonight. The best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, from Omaha, Nebraska, we present to you.
A short right hook by Crawford knocked Spence clear off his feet with 1 second to go in the 7th round. That marked the second time Spence went down during the 7th round and the 3rd knockdown of the fight for Crawford. A counter right hook by Crawford sent Spence to the canvas for the 2nd time in the fight with just under 2 minutes to go in the 7th round. Spence again got up quickly, but looked confused by what Crawford was able to do to him. Crawford stung Spence with a right-left-left combination a little less than 20 seconds into the 7th round.
Your timing not being there too, did you feel off physically or anything, or what was wrong in the fight?
Yeah, felt a little off physically, but most times I get through it. So, I thought it was gonna be just like the other times, but I couldn't kick it up a notch.
Spence held Crawford after absorbing another left hand late in the 6th round. Crawford countered Spence with another clean left with 1:15 to go in the 6th round. Crawford caught Spence with a right hook to his body with slightly more than a minute remaining in the 5th round. Crawford continued to land hard jabs as Spence came forward with just over 1:40 to go in the 5th round. A ringside physician examined Spence as Spence stood in his corner before he would allow the 5th round to begin.
I got a feel for his power, probably like 1st, 2nd round. He's a strong dude, but everybody at this top level have some type of power. But I think because my time was out, he was catching me in between shots.
I get to say I told y'all. because I've been asking for these fights for years, and y'all been saying, oh, he's too small, he's gonna get this, he's gonna get broken.
Crawford staggered Spence with a stiff jab that connected with just under 40 seconds remaining in the 4th round. Crawford drilled Spence with an overhand left that moved him backward with just over 145 to go in the 4th round. By then, Spence bled from his nose. Crawford previously landed 2 left hands with a little more than a minute remaining in the 4th round. Crawford landed a hard jab with just under 35 seconds to go in the 3rd round. Crawford connected with another jab that backed up Spence about 15 seconds later.
I'm about to take my belt off then.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Errol?
You don't need more than the belt. I don't know what you talking about. I ain't one of your kids.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
treat
need
you
more
like,
than the belt. I ain't one of your kids.
I'ma treat you like one.
Yeah, all right, we gonna see.
All right, we definitely gonna see.
Spence, seemingly motivated by the knockdown he suffered late in the 2nd round, attacked Crawford as soon as the 3rd round began. Crawford fended him off though, and the action returned to the center of the ring. Years before the fight, American professional boxers Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford came face to face at the Chesapeake Energy Arena in Oklahoma City. They exchanged words expressing their desire to face each other. Months after that, Crawford defeated English boxer Amir Khan via technical knockout and called out Spence to a bout.
And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the main event of the evening. Brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. 12 rounds of boxing with the undisputed welterweight championship of the world.
Soon, Crawford defeated Kell Brook, the first common opponent between Spence and Crawford via technical knockout. Crawford called out Spence once again. In April 2022, Spence returned from a career-threatening surgery after he was involved in a single vehicle accident in October 2019. He defeated Cuban boxer Yordenis Ugas via technical knockout and proceeded to call out Crawford. In September 2022, Spence and Crawford were on the verge of a deal after months of negotiations for November 19th. However, negotiations collapsed at the 11th hour.
Nothing really surprised me. He was just like I thought. It just my timing wasn't good today.
Questions for Errol Spence Jr.?
Hey, Errol, Keith Heideck from BoxingScene.com. What do you attribute your timing not being there to? Did you feel off physically or anything, or what?
3 months later, Crawford defeated Russian boxer Avanesyan via knockout. In March 2023, Spence and Crawford revealed that they had a roughly 30-minute phone call in February, with getting the deal over the line after Spence appeared headed for a fight with American boxer Keith Thurman at 154 pounds. On May 23rd, ESPN reported that Spence versus Crawford agreed to a July 29th deal to fight for the undisputed welterweight championship in Las Vegas. On May 25th, it was announced that Spence and Crawford would face each other on July 29th at the T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada for the World Boxing Association, Super, World Boxing Council, International Boxing Federation, and World Boxing Organization welterweight titles. What are your thoughts on a possible rematch between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence? Let's hear them in the comments section. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.